We're here at the Fantasy Friend Zone, about to record another mock draft. This is going to be 10-team late position. We're going 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 flex, and actually, you know what? Nah, make it 3. Make it interesting. Make it three receivers. Sorry, half PPR. Let's get to it. Now, while this loads up, I'll kind of speak to a little bit of like smaller league strategy. It is really important in these smaller leagues that you gain an advantage at another position. You have to have positional advantage somewhere. And usually, yes, you can get that like running back, receiver, but you also really want to either get a positional advantage at tight end or quarterback, if not possibly both. I find it to be a bit difficult I think in 10-team leagues, it's usually better to go for just one or the other, because then you're hindering how much depth you can get, or even just like how much upside you can get with your running backs and receivers. But if it's an 8-team league, I totally recommend getting like a top 5 quarterback and a top 5 tight end to go with running backs and receivers. All right, so first round, let's look at these. I'm going to go skip the cheat sheet. Hide the drafted players. And we got half PPR. We got 3 receiver positions here. So that's something we definitely have to keep in mind. Yeah, I have to agree with Fantasy Pros that Clyde is probably like my number 1 guy right here. But Michael Thomas, man, him still being there is pretty tough. I think I'll still go Clyde, because one of Michael Thomas or Devontae Adams or Julio might still come back, and if they don't, that means a guy like Joe Mixon will still be there, and I'm perfectly fine with going heavy running back early. So we're going to roll with Clyde right here. All right, yeah, Devontae, Michael Thomas both get taken. Mixon goes too, so make things a little difficult here. Julio, great receiver. Definitely a tier above Tyreek Hill and everybody else. To be honest, I'm not targeting Tyreek Hill on just about any drafts right now. Anybody that has some type of offseason injury where they're out like multiple days, possibly even weeks, you just don't want to mess with it. I mean, we learned our lesson last year. Odell, look what happened. He needs offseason like hernia surgery, groin surgery, and whatnot. It's not something you want to mess with. Same thing with Miles Sanders. Like Miles Sanders, man, if he didn't have that lower body injury, this dude is like a top 7, 8 pick. But that lower body injury happening, you don't want that much risk with early round draft picks. I think he's upside wise, more upside than I think him and Kenyon Drake probably offer the most upside of the remaining RBs left in this entire list. But I just don't want to have that much risk in my second pick. Making things tough now. Yeah, we're still gonna go Austin Eckler here. We're gonna go running back heavy first. I think in future videos we'll switch it up, go running back receiver. But right now, it just seems like Eckler's probably the right pick right there. Solidify the RB position, get a couple pass catching running backs, nice solid floor. Hey, both in the AFC West. What do you know? All right, and take a quick look at the draft board. Why not? Okay, so yeah, we got Kittle, Kelsey, Mahomes all going. Any other notable draft picks? Not really. Let's see, we got Kenyon Drake going slightly late. Not too bad. Aaron Jones in the 3rd is nice. All right, let's get back to the cheat sheets. Okay, so right now we're looking at Juju, Odell, and DJ Moore. Chris Carson's there, but we have 3 wide receiver positions that we have to fill. So normally Chris Carson could be in question going if you want to go real RB heavy early. But to me, with that 3rd wide receiver position and just with these values that you're getting at wide receiver, This is between DJ Moore and Odell. My simple arguments for against Juju and Amari are, let's go with Juju first. He could easily end up putting up production that he has in like one of his first 2 seasons in the league. Last year was obviously like a reflection of him being injured, Big Ben being injured, the offense in chaos with Mason Rudolph being just like the worst quarterback in football. Devlin Hodges just not an NFL quarterback. And we're just not sure if Big Ben's coming back healthy. There are a couple other question marks, like can he do it without Antonio Brown? Now, I wholly believe that he can, because people always point at his like reception perception stats and how he's like, oh, in the bottom like half of the league and a lot of those stats. And it's like, who cares? Because he was in the bottom half when he's putting up all those crazy ass numbers, 1,400 yards and double digit touchdowns too. So like, that is not a great argument. But he does offer more risk than DJ Moore to me. And to be honest, so does Odell. And that's why I'm probably leaning DJ Moore here. I will say that I think the most upside lies with Odell, and then second most Juju. Amari, just not a huge fan. I don't want a guy that's like Marvin Jones 2.0. He's going to be putting up 30-point games one week, is 0 points the next week. Got this disappearing act, constantly injured, plays through it, but man, just not something I'm a fan of. Go with the safe pick, DJ Moore right here. All right, and now let's see where we're at. See a little bit of a drop off at running back with Chris Carson gone. Still got James Conner there, probably my favorite running back on the board. Don't really want any of Gurley this year. He'll probably get volume. It's like you don't know how effective he'll be. His dirt cutter offenses, like I've never posted like that many productive Falcons running backs. It's a very pass friendly offense. Yeah, it's just somebody I'm just not taking in like any draft. Melvin Gordon, the rib injury doesn't really help things. There's still going to be Philip Lindsay has a role there. You don't know how many touches he's going to be getting. Melvin Gordon should get most of them, but just not loving the question and volume there. And Jonathan Taylor, obviously, just so much upside. Like James Conner probably has the most upside, and then Jonathan Taylor the second most out of all these backs. I think people forget James Conner was like top five running back in like the last couple of years. Like the dude is a beast when he took over for Lev. Like double digit touchdowns. He put up like was it like 1,200 yards on the ground or something like that. Like the dude put up numbers. So this is definitely, let's take a look at the roster. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely between James Conner and one of two receivers here, and that would be Robert Woods and Calvin Ridley. Talked a lot about how Ridley's going to be on one of the most pass-friendly offenses in football. Robert Woods, we got over in previous videos about him versus Cooper Kupp, and how just like honestly some positive regression to the mean of the touchdown department should do wonders for Robert Woods. But anybody would be really shocked if the Rams just like went back to being the Rams of old. I mean, I don't think so. They got like some pieces on defense. Seemed to figure it out more at the end, running with more tight ends on the field to help with that very poor offensive line. And it's another offseason to help them get more cohesion between some of the linemen. You never know. So yeah, this is definitely, Robert Woods is definitely the safe pick, but Calvin really definitely offers the most upside at the receiver position. And it's 10 teams, so you really want to go for it here. So this is definitely, I feel like this is definitely between Ridley and James Conner. I think this is a close one. Man, there's so much receiver depth going later. believe it or not, I actually think James Conner offers the more upside because if he goes, I mean, this guy, I mean, either one can actually be top, high-end wide receiver running back once. Let's not get that wrong. Okay, like let's say Calvin Ridley finishes top 5 receiver. I don't think anybody's that shocked. The dude's put up monster numbers his first 2 years in the league. For me, it's all only a question of James Conner's health. If he is healthy for even just like 14 games of the season, he's finishing as a running back one. He's finishing as like a top 8 guy, guaranteed. Um, yeah, and that's something that you plug him in and start him and play him, and whenever he's playing, you know to start him. All right, so now we can hold off on a little bit of running back depths, and this is where you just go ham. You just go absolutely ham on receivers right here. We do have to take a peek at the tight ends, and man, Darren Waller is right there for the taking. We do have a quick pick in the second round. Man, this is definitely between Darren Waller and Terry McLaurin right here. There are guys that are pretty close to McLaurin's, like either in or very close to his tier, though. I guess it's really only DJ Chark, and then Courtland Sutton's kind of like a little bit of a drop right there. I would be okay. I think for the purpose of the video, we should be taking Darren Waller here because we were talking before, like you have to get in a positional advantage at either the tight end or quarterback position, and I'm still fine with waiting on quarterback. If I'm being completely honest, I just think Darren Waller, like, man, if he were to imagine if this number is like 8 touchdowns, if he puts up like even if it's just like 6 or 7 touchdowns last year, he's not in question. He's not going in the 5th round. He's not going in the 6th round. This dude's going in like the top 3 rounds if he puts up a higher TD number. Dude has 120 targets last year. Come on, man. Almost 1,200 yards. This dude has a lot of upside for this upcoming year. I'm kind of excited to see what the Raiders do with Darren Waller. I think he's the best target on the team. Like him and Josh Jacobs, receivers aren't really doing much. It's going to be difficult for Henry Ruggs to. It's helpful that Ruggs will be in the slot, but it's just going to be tough. It's just tough for rookie receivers, especially with like a shortened offseason with COVID. Yeah, I'm all over Darren Waller. And all right, Terry McLaurin went. Shame. But DJ Chark right there for the taking. He seems to be, yeah, he's the obvious pick. Him and Gardner got some chemistry. Devontae, we've talked about how he had his little breakout at the end, but it was so dependent on volume. And to be honest, the same can be said for Gesicki too. That's why not sure if Gesicki is going to be panning out this year. Maybe a little riskier than we first assumed when releasing our tight end video. But this doesn't bode well for Parker if Preston Williams is healthy. And he is healthy right now, and he's looking good. And he's looking good in camp. Coaches are loving him. And target share was very similar when Devontae and Preston Williams were playing last year. So it's not necessarily even saying that, like, oh, Preston Williams is the better player, but Devontae Parker was not having the same production when Preston Williams was on the field compared to when after he tore his ACL and Preston Williams was off. Yeah, and then for Keenan Allen, it just sucks that Philip Rivers isn't there. I'm not really, I understand it's like the 6th round, but there just can't be that much upside when you're looking at Tyrod Taylor as your quarterback and potentially them doing so poorly that Justin Herbert is all of a sudden at the helm. Like, oh my gosh, if Justin Herbert ends up playing quarterback, wow, just trade Keenan Allen immediately. Oh, let's get rid of that. Okay. All right. Running backs looking pretty solid. Like our receivers so far, we got the positional advantage at tight end, loving it. Okay, we got some quarterbacks on the board. We can still wait at quarterback. We're fine right there. Okay, so we're looking at. Actually, let's take a look at the draft board real quick. Who went right before us? Okay, Hunt went before us. Shame. Higbee, it's fine. Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry really, I feel like, caught a break with the Mike Williams injury. I think if Mike Williams was not hurt, then that is a very terrible pick. I just do not see a reality where he ends up finishing as like a top end tight end, like top 5 tight end. He's going to be with. I mean, he's transitioning from Phillip Rivers, who's one of the best quarterbacks in football, throwing to the tight end, and he has been for like over a decade, to Tyrod Taylor and possibly Justin Herbert. Like, it's just, I don't see it happening. And he's so touchdown dependent. Man, it's just what a bad pick. I mean, for anybody that's already drafted Hunter Henry, you got pretty lucky with that Mike Williams injury. But if Mike Williams is able to come back healthy and be fine, then yeah, Hunter Henry's continues to be a bad pick. All right, AJ Green, that's fine. Upside, injury risk. Marquise Brown, upside, injury risk, not as much as AJ Green. Stephon Diggs, not a huge fan of the pick. I just don't really see what Josh Allen, I don't know. Josh Allen's not going to be passing for 4,500 yards or even like 4,200 yards. He probably will be like very low 4,000s if he even makes it there. They're going to be running a lot. They got a good defense. Got John Brown running deep routes as well. And you just saw like good defenses kind of exploiting some of Josh Allen's weaknesses. Not sure if Diggs definitely goes to a decrease situation. I don't know if I'm taking him anywhere. Got Gallup going a little early, but that's okay. It's got a lot of upside. All right, let's go to the cheat sheets. Okay, we got Jarvis Landry, Tyler Boyd. This is a 10-team league. There is zero reason to take guys like this in a 10-team league. We are not looking for people that are going to give us 8 to 12 points a week. I want a guy that has the potential to break out and be a high-end wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1. And the only wide receivers like that on the board currently, it's not Landry, it's not Boyd, it's not Edelman. We're looking at Marvin Jones, Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. We've already talked about how Marvin Jones, week-to-week basis, no idea what's going to happen. My favorite picks right here are, like, by far Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. Now, maybe Jarvis Landry did good enough last year to warrant being in this conversation, but he is dealing with an injury, and I just think that the obvious pick here is between Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks. We've already talked about it in previous videos that this is kind of like the way to go, but at the same time, this is only the 7th round, and it's like you should be looking. You can get Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks in like 12-team leagues in the 7th round, sometimes even in the 8th. So there's other value to be had here. You got Ronald Jones still on the board, not touching Devin Singletary. Zach Moss is the value to get in that backfield. DeAndre Swift still dealing with injury. Kerryon's probably going to be the starter going into the season. Prefer Breida over Howard. James White, not a lot of upside, okay. Yeah, this pick is, we do have our tight end. This pick can be quarterback or it can be running back. And we currently have 3 running backs. And this being a smaller league, this is a purely upside pick. But I want to make sure. Okay, so now this is where it is purely dependent on what do you call it? Like how far down the list the players are. So essentially we have Ronald Jones only like 3 players down, but then we have like J.K. Dobbins at 4 players down. I actually would prefer J.K. Dobbins in this scenario just because I'm just going for upside. Just going for upside after round like 4 or 5, especially in a 10-team league. But at the same time, we need to fill out that 3rd wide receiver position. So I think I still have to take a wide receiver with the next pick. Yeah, I would love to take both of them, but going with the starter. Yeah, we're gonna lean with the starter right now. Because if Will Fuller or or Brandon Cooks do go, then we're definitely going J.K. Dobbins. Neither of them go. Okay. So essentially, we're just stuck here between Dobbins, Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks. Could go Kyler Murray if you want. Kyler Murray if you want to. Don't really see the reason if you want to get like a good quarterback. I mean, there's just so many good quarterbacks. Even if we were to wait until the next round and grab like Matt Ryan, okay, awesome. He's in the top. He's in the top 10. He's a top 10 quarterback every single year, almost like his entire career. Great. Even like Josh Allen were to fall to us. Okay, rushing quarterbacks, love it. Deshaun Watson, rushing quarterbacks, love it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I'm okay just sending it. We're gonna send it with Will Fuller. If this dude magically stays healthy, we're drafting a wide receiver 1. But again, like he needs to be blessed in order to stay on the field, and it's just probably not going to happen. But we know we're starting him when he's playing. All right. We got Josh Allen left at QB. Okay. I actually think there's a pretty solid drop off after that. The really only two quarterbacks I'm really looking at that I want for sure right now are Josh Allen and Stafford. But I just think there's so much value with the rushing quarterback. Wentz, you already had the lower body injury, man, and you already have Jalen Reagor injured. Alshon Jeffrey struggling to come back. Deshaun Jackson's luckily on the field right now, but he could go at any time. That poor abdominal muscles. Yeah, we're taking our shot with Josh Allen here. All right, and let's see where we're at. Okay. We got Zach Moss. Love it. Breida, okay. Still got Damian Harris and Chase Edmonds on the board. Let's see, a receiver. Actually, we're chilling pretty much a receiver, but we can grab like Preston Williams, Anthony Miller, probably in. I think one of them should come back in the next round. I don't really see. It is quite a bit picks. But let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we haven't filled out a lot of the bench yet. So I'm okay with taking Rita. Go for more upside. Let's go Zach Moss. Now I think if I took J.K. Dobbins instead of Ronald Jones, then I probably would lean Breida because I think Breida is a safer pick. For some reason, I think he's a safer pick because we know who he is. As much as like Zach Moss is being raved about, we haven't seen him play in the NFL yet. We know that Breida is good, and his major problem is injury. But at the same time, like you can't deny the upside of Zach Moss. This is going to be run-heavy team. Getting the valuable targets, perfectly fine with that pick. All right, and let's see where we're at. There we go. Preston Williams falling into our laps. Love it. It's a pretty easy pick right there. We've got Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb. Just hard for rookie receivers right now. If I'm leaning toward one of them, definitely CeeDee Lamb. Just a better offense, better quarterback. And again, rookie and Ruggs. Hardman, yeah, definite upside there. But pretty big fan of Preston Williams. Let's run it. All right, we still got Mecole Hardman there, and probably more importantly, we still got Damian Harris there. And 12th round, all day, every day. Even this is 12th team, all day, every day. Okay, so something to keep in mind when we got Josh Allen at QB right now. He's got a pretty rough schedule. Now, I'm okay with it for the majority of the season, but it is, to be honest, off the top of my head, I cannot remember if it's beginning of the season or like playoffs where he has a very rough stretch. But draft a second quarterback or stream a quarterback accordingly. Like if he has a tough first half of the year or tough like the first 3 or 4 games, then you might want to bring in a second quarterback like Cam or Ben or Goff to ease the load for Josh Allen on your team. But I want to say it's actually for the playoffs, so just study accordingly. Look at strength of schedule during like weeks what would it be? Probably like 14 to 16, hopefully, if the season lasts as long as it should. And yeah, just something to be very aware of. Let's see. Now we're pretty solid so far. We got like 4 receivers. Might go one more. Yeah, we still got Deshaun Jackson still on the board. Rashad Perriman dealing with injury. N'Keal Harry been in and out of practice, dealing with a little bit of injury. I don't think Allen Lazard, yeah, Lizard King. Or is he Lizard King or is it Sammy Watkins? Whatever. Allen Lazard probably doesn't have that much upside compared to some of these other players. Brandon Ayuk was a good sleeper, but him dealing with some injury stuff hurts his value a little bit. Not touching Sammy Watkins. Paris Campbell runs a lot of the same routes and plays a lot of the same position as T.Y. Hilton, so not a huge fan of that. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is definitely just between Edmonds and Jackson. Chase Edmonds, Deshaun Jackson. We got a quick next pick. I'm gonna roll with Chase Edmonds and hope Deshaun Jackson makes it back right here. And he does. Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have seen, I mean, Deshaun Jackson, he still has it. He just has to stay on the field. If he's on the field, Carson Wentz is going to be his best friend. Him and Zach Ertz. You got the dude that stretches the field and the other dude that owns the entire middle of the field. All right, now we're just at defense and kicker. Again, do not really care here. My advice, vote for kickers being out of your league. Reduces variability, reduces like that luck factor. It might be fun for some people, but really sucks when you go against a team in the playoffs and you have a much better team and all of a sudden, I don't know, Kaimi Fairbarn goes for like 25 points in the semifinals of your league. Very ridiculous, but it happens. Allows worse teams to win, in my eyes, at least. All right, that's whatever. Just go with the Bears. Remember, strength of schedule. Check strength of schedule for early season. I know the Chargers and the Chiefs have pretty solid early season strengths of schedule, so that's something to definitely look at and be mindful of when taking defenses and whatever. Don't really care. All right, so we got our early tight end for positional advantage there. We waited. Look at that, C-. Yeah, we don't give a shit about our grades. We got depth at the running back position. We got a lot of upside with our receivers, and we got Josh Allen for like a very safe floor. I mean, he's like top 5 fantasy quarterback last year. So yeah, I mean, if he even duplicates what he did last year, we're sitting in the driver's seat with this team. Big fan. We got a lot of pass catching backs, and yeah, a lot of upside with guys like Zach Moss, Damian Harris, and Chase Edmonds at the running back position. James Conner's running back 1 when he's when he's playing, and Darren Waller. You guys got to watch out for Darren Waller. We're looking at potential like 90 receptions at the tight end position. Whew, it's going to be pretty. But all right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Like, subscribe, drop a comment, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.